guys, this is Pamela and
Jim
Smith with Sugar Bear Bus. We are so excited to have you guys here to see the tour of our bus. We are finally finished. Yes, we've been living in it while building, so we'll talk about that a little bit too. So come on in and check out the bus. So the first thing I want to talk about is our cool little find here from Hobby Lobby. Not always do you have to build everything out. We just saw this when we walked into Hobby Lobby and watched it for 2-3 weeks. So this is an already locking cabinet. It already shuts, so when we go down the road, we don't have to worry about this one. Yes, that matters later. So this becomes our little shoe cabinet. We get to store all of our shoes, all of our dog stuff in here. All of Bobby's bones and Princess's things. So everything goes in there, gets locked away, and yet has a nice, cute apothecary look. So we love this thing. All right, so first of all, when you first come in after the shoe cabinet, we've got this living space. This living space wasn't always quite this pretty. One of the things that we talked about doing forever and ever was to build out the couch and turn it into a bed. It just wasn't in the cards. And so, especially when prices of wood started going up. So we were shopping one day at a restore and found this ugly grandma curtain couch, and I saw on YouTube where I could actually paint the fabric. So I wanted to just try it out. If it didn't work, we were only out 15 bucks. If it did work, we had a cool couch that was going to match the bus. So all we did was take fabric softener and mix it 50-50 with chalk paint. We got that at Home Depot. So for $50, $40 or whatever that was, we got a little quart size of chalk paint, did the fabric softener, sprayed it down a little bit wet, and just painted away. 7 coats later, we have this couch. So this turns into a queen size bed when it's unfolded. Otherwise, it is a nice, comfortable couch. And then we got the chair. The chair we found at a different state in a different restore. This was Michigan. This, I think, was Texas or Utah or something. I don't know. We've been traveling. So $15, and the chair was $5. We got our blackout shades from Home Depot that actually fit the windows perfectly. And then we built out the valances, which is some wood behind it, some padding. We stapled the material to the wood itself. No sewing or glue involved whatsoever. All right, so the next thing that we have is this cabinet, this entire space. So with our roof raised, that gives us the ability to have things very, very tall with lots and lots of storage. It's kind of why we didn't need any storage underneath the couch. We originally had 8-foot ceilings with this, and so this cabinet goes all the way from ceiling all the way down to the floor. So this refrigerator is a full-size apartment refrigerator. What's nice about it is we've got the smaller freezer, we've got plenty of room in the refrigerator, and we've got a 3.2 cubic freezer in the other corner. And then we have a full-size roll-out pantry on the top, a full-size roll-out pantry on the bottom, and then down here we've got Bobby's food. So one of the things about the build that we absolutely love is all the cool little deals we found all across the country. The kitchen is no different than the living room. We found cabinetry from every single kind of state all over the place. So we always went to restores, we went to Lowe's, scratch and dent, and if we found something, we grabbed it. This cabinet right here was from Wisconsin, and yes, you have to say it right, Wisconsin, according to my girlfriend. So this right here was about $15. The cabinet below, the whole thing that houses the sink itself, this was only $10. The whole side was kind of falling off and falling apart. You can see where we've kind of put it together. So the sink itself is from a veteran's thrift store. I don't even remember where we were with this, but this is a cast iron sink, a farmhouse type sink. Yes, farmhouse actually means cast iron, not necessarily out this way. The cabinet behind here that houses our stove itself, this came from North Carolina as well as a kitchen cabinet. This was only $5, so that was a good deal. And our huge corner unit that houses all kinds of stuff in here was only about 30. The whole thing about these things is that you just gotta look. You can go without as long as you can, but when you find the deal, be ready to snatch them up. So one of the things that we wanted with the build is I wanted some open shelving to make it look like it's my home. And the open shelving works perfect. Jim put in some exposed shelving with the plumber's steel pipe, and then we just cut the 2x8 to fit in here. And this thing is really, really snug, as you can tell. It does not move going down the road. It barely fit in there. We had to maneuver our way into it. And then we have 2 more shelves over on this side. So I had to have these special tile in the back. I didn't want pretend tile. I didn't want sticky. I wanted the real thing. The point of having the bus is that I get to have real wood. I get to have butcher block countertops, and I get to have real tile. So I had fun learning how to put the tile up on the back. So the freezer is a 3.2 cubic foot freezer. It holds a lot. So we can actually boondock or go off-grid for quite some time between a composting toilet, the freezer, the fridge. It's awesome to be able to not have to run to the store all the time. So, why are we here?
Why are we here?
What made us come to all? It was his fault, not mine. Totally.
Do we have to say fault? We could just say, actually, you started showing me a bunch of videos on
Tiny homes.
Tiny homes.
Yeah.
And we were watching tiny home
But they were cool.
channels and HGTV and
That's when we started watching tiny home tours.
tiny home tours. Yeah, and we thought, well, I mean, we originally looked at possibly building a tiny house or getting a small piece of land, and with the housing market even at the time this video is being shot is even more outrageous with the prices of houses these days. To buy a house is like ludicrous, and then there's the taxes and everything that goes along with it. It's just astronomical, and we wanted to travel. I think was a big deal, and so
we have 6 kids. I have 4. Jim has 2, and so we didn't get a ton of traveling in because it was a feat every time we had to pack up 6 kids and go. And the youngest one graduated from high school, and when he took off, Jim was ready to take off too. Jim and Walker were leaving at the same time, it felt like, but he had to convince me. I wasn't so sure I wanted to live in something small and sell everything and go. There's usually one or the other that has to be convinced, and I was the one that needed to be convinced.
which is normally the case.
How did you convince me?
Well, we started out by Airbnb-ing the house we were in, and we would go tent camping every weekend while we would Airbnb in the house.
Every weekend.
Every weekend. And we were in the mountains in Asheville, and it was a beautiful place, and there's lots of opportunities to do that sort of thing. And we figured, okay, well, if we can do it in a tent, you know, we can definitely make it work in a bus or a camper or an RV or something. We started looking at campers and RVs, and then decided, you know, I guess we got lucky on the bus, because I started looking around for buses and how much they cost and different things, and to find this bus was a real hidden gem, because most people spend somewhere between $3,000 and $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 on their bus, and we spent $800 and drove it home. So that was kind of a big deciding factor that this is the one.
All right, so here's the bedroom. We wanted to make sure when we did the floor plan, which took millions and millions and millions of drawings. Yes, I did the old school way of doing it. I used pen and paper to do, and graph paper. But when we did the drawing itself, I wanted to make sure the bedroom was kind of private and away from being able to see. Then if I didn't make my bed, it wasn't a big deal. This is a queen size bed. We originally had a king size, and it fit the entire area, and we wanted to make sure that we had a closet. When we put the bed up, we wanted it to be 2 totes high, which means I'm 5'9", which means this bed is very, very tall. And no, I don't get a running start to get into the bed. I do have a ladder that we get out of the closet and climb up into the bed every single night. Under the bed, we have our 3-drawer system for our socks and whatever we want to just kind of put away. We also have our shop vac that we use for everything, it seems, along with all the totes, the water tank, the electric, you name it, it's all underneath the bed, which makes it very, very convenient, and no one can see any of it. So one of the biggest parts about the bus build, or even any kind of conversion, it has to do with the electric. No, we don't have solar, but we do have shore power. Our shore power is 50 amp. We also have some adapters for our electric to be able to adapt it down to a 30 amp and then down to the 30 amp generator. We wanted to make sure that we had at least the shore power because we have the generator. So now that we did that, and yes, I did all of the electric. Yes, girls can do it. Red goes with red, black goes with black. It's not that hard. Just gotta take it kind of slow. So in the bedroom, we wanted to make sure we had his and her plugs, mainly for our phones, right? Can't ever be anywhere without our phones. So when we charge the phones, Jim's side is the very first outlet in the series of the left side of the bus. So that one is a GFI. So if something goes wrong, it switches on that outlet before it switches the breaker. So he has to have a box with that one. On my side, the outlet has to where we can plug our phone cords in and not have the box to knock off constantly. It makes it really, really convenient. We have that in 2 places on the bus. We also have 3 different switches at the end of our bed. The first one is the water pump, and then so that goes on and off. The water pump is underneath the bed in the garage area. The second one has 2 switches, and only one of them is hooked up to anything. So the one switch is hooked up to the lights in the bedroom. SA lights. It's only a light. It's one single light. And then the top switch is hooked. Is a 3-way that goes to our under the kitchen cabinets, and in our bathroom we have night lighting to go under the cabinets, so where we can turn them on when we're in the kitchen and we can shut them off when we get into the bed. The reason for that is we were walking around in the dark stubbing our toe when we were trying to climb into the bed, and it is tall, so if we're jumping to get in the bed, we didn't want to knock anything over. We wanted to see what we're doing, and so we put that up. Makes it very, very convenient. Okay, so the other part of the build is that we needed the store space for some closet. We wanted some hanging. So we switched the bed into the queen size bed, and then the size of the hall is about 25 inches wide. So we had that for the closet itself. This is one of the things that we have to do lockdown with when we're going down the road. So we've got these locks that go on the doors themselves. We open it up, and that's where we keep the ladder. Yes, it's an old painter's ladder. Hopefully that thing will change out soon, but that's how we get in the bed. And then we've got his on the top and mine on the bottom, and then some storage in the back of the closet and some storage at the bottom of the closet. The flooring itself, we got at a huge deal. This was special ordered with someone, and then they returned it. So there was an entire pallet of this flooring, and we desperately needed flooring. So out in Lake Havasu, Lowe's cut us a deal. We got the pallet for about $50 or $60 of flooring. We did the entire floor, under the bed, in the garage, and then we had a ton left over. We ended up giving it to someone else that was starting their build out in Lake Havasu. He cried, he gave us a big hug, and we said, man, have a good build, enjoy it. One of the cool parts about our build is our storage. And this right here pulls out into a very large shoe cabinet. Not bad, right? One of the big questions for people is that how do you make money on the road? DoorDash obviously is one of them. If you have a second vehicle, you can do DoorDash, Uber Eats, all that kind of stuff. I was able to pick up a contract, a 6-month contract for the government. This would happen to be with COVID. I was a supervisor. I trained supervisors on how to handle their agents with the call center. And so I picked up that contract for 6 months, and I worked Monday through Thursday. We got the Wii Boost so that I could do it. I had a computer, and I had the Wii Boost, and I had my phone, which my phone is from Verizon, and I have a grandfather contract, and so it has unlimited. So we watch TV from that. We work from that. We play from that. I mean, all of our phones are on it. It works great. So every Friday I got paid, and Monday through Thursday we had to sit still so that I had good internet. And then the rest of the time we would go hiking and kayaking and traveling and all that kind of stuff. It was a lot of fun. The other thing that we've done is we've picked up restaurant jobs, especially right now. It's so easy to pick up a restaurant job. Serving tables, I can make as much serving tables as I did with my contract work. So you go into a town, you pick up the serving tables, you hang out for a couple months, and then you travel for a few months. It is easy to do. Mm-hmm. He's done bartending, and I've done waiting on tables. We're both pretty outgoing. It's, I don't think it's a prerequisite, but it makes it pretty easy. I love it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so with the French country theme of the bus, the bathroom, always a very important part. This bathroom, everyone says, is a huge bathroom for a skoolie or any other type of build out you might do in a conversion setting. It's about 4.5 feet by 5'2", I believe. Ceramic tile in the shower. We actually got the paint color for the cabinets that Pamela was showing you in the kitchen came from this tile. We actually had Lowe's match the paint specifically from this tile to the cabinets, and then did a surround around the piping for the sink here, did a pedestal sink on top, and then matched the gold fixtures to all the hardware that's in the kitchen, so it pulls that blue and gold look together. The cabinet to the left, the doors, we actually were a bifold closet door that were up in the rafters at my mother-in-law's garage. So we matched the hardware there, and we're able to do a little linen closet. It's kind of rustic looking in there, but our on-demand hot water heater is in here that's on propane, and then the tank is underneath, so we can swap that out pretty easily without having to crawl underneath the bus. The composting toilet I built. I just didn't want to spend $1,000 or $1,200 on a Nature's Head. Those things are great, but with a little ingenuity, it looks more like a regular toilet. I measured the height, so it's like the taller toilets. So taller people, you understand what I mean. When you sit down on a standard toilet, you feel like you're on the floor. And I don't like to go on a squatty potty. So I built it at a tall height. There is a bucket in there with a liner, and then I did a funnel inside that's an elongated funnel, and the ladies would appreciate that. And then that gets piped down into the gray water tank. So everything stays separate anyway. These little cabinets were a find at Hobby Lobby again, and they were just decorative cabinets, but it holds all of our little toiletry items, toothbrushes, razors, whatever we need, tucked away, face cream, all that fun stuff. Our bus, Sugar Bear, it's a 94 Bluebird school bus. It's an old Ford with a 5.9 12-valve Cummings diesel engine in it with the Allion transmission combination. Automatic, not a stick. But this 5.9 12-valve is like a tank. I mean, it's almost bulletproof. It doesn't go fast, but it will definitely get you there. Again, with the roof raise, we raised the roof 20 inches. We cut it from just above the windshield to just above the back windows of the bus, and ordered the pieces to do the roof raise from skoolie.com. So Luke, thanks so much. You did a big help for us. But he does custom made hat channel extensions for lack of a better term. They're actually called roof bows, according to Bluebird. So figuring out terminology as you go is always fun. We bought the RV windows on Facebook Market, paid 60 bucks, no, 30 bucks for the RV windows, the whole set. So it was a stupid good deal. The logo on the side, I'd actually gotten a hat from, I think, my wife or one of the kids for my birthday last year, and it had this bear on my hat. And I went, gosh, that would look really cool blown up on the side of the bus. So we literally at night took a little projector and cast the image up on the side of the bus and traced it with Sharpies. And then the next day or a couple days later, I went to the art store in Asheville, bought the acrylic paint, and then filled all in, you know, relatively close to what the image looked like. It's not exact, but it's turned out really nice, and we've gotten a lot of compliments on the bear itself. But the paint color we had custom made and sprayed it. There was a tool supply or a tool library in Asheville. So check out, you know, because there's certain tools you just don't want to have to spend the money on, and a paint sprayer was one of those things, like a pneumatic air sprayer. So we went to the tool library, and for 50 bucks or 100 bucks a year, you could join the library and you could rent for free any tools that they had, which was an awesome find. When we traveled across the country, I literally went to every school bus yard at every town we stopped at. You know, so the school bus places, sometimes they have contracts with the state or certain tire companies, and they send their tires back to be recapped. I got lucky, finally, in Traverse City, Michigan. I was able to go to the local school bus lot, and they had some tires that they took off of a bus that only had about 7,000 miles on the tires. I got them for free. And then had another company actually mount them and balance, or they don't have to be balanced, but mounted them up, and they only charged me like 100 bucks. So that was a stupid good deal. So the toolbox in the back, something that we really wanted, and we keep eyeballing at Tractor Supply and all these different stores, but again, they're 500, 600, 700 bucks depending on where you go. And all of them have a lid that either comes up or goes down, which was a point of contention for me being tall. They don't go all the way up and then hinge on the top. They only come straight up, so you're either ducking under it or you're hitting your shins on them. This one actually opens like barn doors, which was really cool. It was stainless steel, but I painted it black to match the trim on the bus, and it houses our gas cans, oil, all that stuff. Back here we have this rack that I actually bolted through the bumper rather than do a hitch right now. So, and then supported it with these cables, steel cables that are vinyl wrapped. And then that holds our generator up. So while we're going down the road, I literally plug the generator in to keep the refrigerator going. Any power that we need when we stop, we don't have to haul something out from the garage, plug it in, and worry about all that stuff. It's already on the go. And it's a 3500 inverter generator from Harbor Freight. Always buy the warranty. It comes in handy. I promise you, you won't regret that tidbit of information, because this is our third generator, and ever so often you have to just swap it out, and they give you a brand new one in a box. So thank you, Harbor Freight. I'm not getting paid for that, but it's paid for itself. So inside the back door is access to the garage under the bed, and we have a 60-gallon freshwater tank under there. Our water pump sits about right here behind the tag. And then we also have our breaker box in there. As I mentioned earlier when we were in the bathroom, everything goes down to a gray water tank that I actually used a 55-gallon plastic drum and converted that to our gray water tank. So everything literally, as far as the sink, the shower, the bathroom sink, and the urine diverter for the toilet, all goes into that gray water tank. And then it has a garden spigot on the outside that I hook up a regular garden hose to, run it to a drain, open it up, and then just empty it out. So this cord coming down into the battery box, these are our starter batteries under here. That's another thing I had to replace when we were in Nevada. Turned out to be the alternator, not the batteries, unfortunately. So that cost me about 300 bucks for 2 new batteries. But I have a trickle charger that runs up through the driver's side window and plugged in the back. So when we're stopped, I turn that on, have the power from the generator running for the bus anyway. Might as well just make sure the batteries are staying charged up at all times. Always a nice little feature. For 25, 30 bucks, you get you a trickle charger and just maintain your batteries so they don't ever get down. Up on the mirror here, we have our WeBoost antenna, and that is a trucker version of the WeBoost, so that it boosts our cell signal, because we don't have Wi-Fi on the bus. We have the WeBoost, and we use our cell phones and our unlimited data.
I think the other thing too is that everything you do becomes a learning curve. If you choose to do it yourself, which we've done all of it. 100% of this build has been us.
Yeah.
From the roof raise to the electric to the plumbing, all of it. But there's a learning curve, and so we've become students of YouTube. YouTube is the #1 place that we learned how to do all things. And then the other thing is you tap into a community that we didn't realize was there.
100%.
For us, it's the skoolie community or RV community, probably a little more than the van life community, although we know some van lifers. It's just a different kind of build. It's half house, half RV kind of thing. And so anyone is willing to roll up their sleeves and help walk you through it, work through it. We now do it for other people. I've helped a lot of people do the electric. A lot of women do the electric. They don't think that they can do it. We really struggled with the plumbing. We waited probably an extra 3 or 4 months to get our plumbing in. So we didn't have running water forever or a drain system forever because we weren't so sure we could do it. And yet somebody else stepped alongside, 2 different groups stepped alongside, and then just joined in and helped.
And it wound up being a lot easier than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I think you make things bigger in our heads than, like the electric. I was so scared, and I'd ask people, I'd ask guys, I'd ask electricians. They just kept telling me. One guy actually said, "Well, little lady, you're gonna burn yourself up." I'm like, oh, for Pete's sakes. If you can do it, I'm sure I can do it. I just need to learn how. So YouTube, step by step by step, helped us do it. It was, it's not as big of a chore as you think it is, if you go slow and you can do it. Well, thanks so much for watching. We appreciate you coming along and just touring our new bus. If you want to follow along on the rest of our journey, be sure to check in with Sugar Bear Bus on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Sugar Bear Bus. Bye for now.